I'm Yvette. I'm the owner of Hatter Street Bakehouse in Kovan. So I started this cafe in 2013. So it has been about 7 years already. I started baking when I was in primary 2, I think. But it was very simple. If I'm not wrong, it was cupcakes. Then after that, graduation, and I went on to teaching. So as a teacher, I also taught food and nutrition, so something similar to my trade now. Then after teaching food and nutrition, I left teaching and then I went to study at the CIA, which is the Culinary Institute of America. They taught us the cuisines of America, cuisines of Asia and Europe, so it's a touch and go. Then also touch on pastry and baking. So it really started when I was in Hong Kong for a couple of months, and my chefs were just teaching me all about baking and pastry, and they were playing with a lot of molecular gastronomy as well. So I remember during the first month in Hong Kong, because of the long hours, and then over the years I've never studied overseas. I've always been working in Singapore. So for that 6 months, especially at that time I was late 20s already. So I remember during my first month, I broke down and cried because I had to work I started work at 10 a.m. I ended work at 1 a.m. So it was far too long. The working hours was just too long already. So I broke down. I remember I called my sister and I said, no, I want to give up. So I cried, broke down. Was every other day that I keep breaking down because I just couldn't get used to life overseas, plus the long working hours, and plus I was alone. Yeah, and then no friends, and then there was a language barrier also because Hong Kong is all Cantonese, and then my Cantonese I can understand, but it's only conversation level for me. Yeah. And after my externship, I didn't want to come back to Singapore. I just wanted to stay in Hong Kong, and I was planning to migrate over to Hong Kong before because they offered me a job. But when I came back to Singapore, I was posted to a school to teach, and I was trying my very best to head back to Hong Kong again because they already offered me. So in my mind, my mindset was, I'm going to move over to Hong Kong and stay, like goodbye Singapore. But too bad immigration didn't allow. So no choice, back to Singapore. And then really this was how Hatter Street started. Then when I came back to Singapore, I started doing a lot of experiments, a lot of R&D in my baking. Whatever I learned from my chefs, whatever knowledge that they taught me, I actually helped set up my friend's shop first. Then after a couple of months, I felt, if he can do it, I can also do it, and I wanted to call it something my own. So I set up this shop over in Kovan. But in this shop, I did a lot of trial and testing, a lot of blind tasting, to make sure that the ratios are all correct, the textures, the flavors are all on the right track before I start selling.
Hi, my name is Victor. I'm the father of Yvette Chua, who is the owner of this cafe. Primarily, I'm here to help her do mainly the administrative work. My first reaction actually when she called me to say that, look, Dad, I want to go into F&B, open my own cafe, I wasn't surprised actually. So my fear was, if she got to break the bond. So that was my fear. I remember when she was probably 7, 8, 9 years old. I remember the first time we brought her to IKEA, I noticed she was standing next to the IKEA that's got those open concept kitchen. She stood there for a long time. She was so engrossed. So finally when we came back, we asked her what is it that you're looking for. And she said she was looking at how the man makes meatball. I guess from that period onwards, I sensed she had that love for the kitchen.
I am a fanatic for Alice in Wonderland. But actually this shop, it's geared towards the Mad Hatter. So as you can see from the murals on the wall, it's all his visions in life also about creativity. But because, as a lady, I added like touches of pink here and there, and then added the door also. So somehow or rather, it just evolved into Alice in Wonderland. My signature is actually the smoked sawdust pudding. So I got inspiration from Hong Kong because of the temples over there. So over here, basically it's a smoked dessert. So when customers open the jar, you can see the smoke coming out. Yeah, so it's to replicate like a visit to Hong Kong when you visit temples. You know, we always smell the incense. But now also in trend is the unicorn, so that's why I created like unicorn waffles and the mermaid waffle sundae also. Yeah, so basically the naming is all in line with like the trends that are upcoming or ongoing also. In 2018, when I had a break-in, so I didn't expect a break-in to happen to my shop at all. So what happened was there's three boys in their teens. They broke in at about 2 a.m. if I remembered through the CCTV, and they removed their tops and they broke through my lock and they squeezed in, and then they sniped and took away my laptop, my POS machine. Yeah. Plus I was stuck in Hong Kong, so the moment I landed, then I realized that my shop was broken into already. So at that point, my dad was handling the whole situation because there was nothing I can do overseas. Yeah, so that was the most memorable one. The current one would be COVID, because I was forced to close for 1.5 months. So during 1.5 months, I was trying to crack my brains like what I should do. So, and plus I'm not IT savvy, so at that time I had to really push myself out of the boundaries. And then I went to social media, I started marketing, did my online sales for that 1.5 months. So that was how I actually survived the whole period.
Hi, my name is Kelly. I'm working as a service crew, and currently I've been working here for around nearly to 5 years. And the first impression of Yvette was when I came down for the interview. When she came out of the kitchen, it was the first time that I saw her, and actually her face was quite serious, and I was quite nervous about that, because the moment she was questioning me, I was startled a little, and I thought that the job didn't go well. Here there's an experienced baker that taught me and guided me throughout. I learned quite a lot of things, because from young I also love baking. So actually when I started working here, it allowed me to expand my baking knowledge that I didn't even know.
Actually, before I opened this shop, I thought of giving up also. Just before I opened, I thought, okay, I don't want to have any more business. Yeah, I really wanted to give up because it was just too overwhelming. Then over the years, here and there, you know, when we face challenges, face obstacles, you just want to give up, but you know, you just have to strive on, because you have to answer to your own business. You put in that much money already, you have to answer to yourself. Yeah. I think there's a lot of must have a lot of self-determination, and then you need to have a lot of moral support. Thanks to my family, my friends who gave a lot of moral support that really persevered me throughout the whole 7 years.
I show my support for Yvette by doing things that which I feel are very time consuming for her. For example, like going to the bank, you know, if she were to she goes alone or she goes herself or a crew, she will spend probably 2 hours waiting. So I do the admin part of it. She can spend her more productive time in the kitchen, doing R&D work, or in the cafe here, running, explaining or teaching the crew what to do and maintaining it. So that way gives her spend more productive time in the cafe itself rather than running around. I
really enjoyed the whole process, even though it's a roller coaster ride, but no regrets at all. I'm really glad that I'm in this journey and this path, especially in the F&B, doing baking and pastry, because you know, seeing customers smile, having repeated customers makes me feel that I'm definitely on the right track. Don't be afraid, just do it. Even if you fail, you know that you will not regret because you have already experienced it and you know that you have gone through it. So yeah, just do it.
Go after your dream, you know. And I believe she went all the way out to set her dream.